the drums of war echo across the earth, a different sound is heard in heaven, the joyous preparations for a wedding feast beyond compare. While nations clash and turmoil spreads, the heavens are adorned for a celebration of eternal love and unity. This isn't just a tale of two realms, it's the ultimate invitation. Which call will you answer? Join us as we uncover the profound contrast between Earth's impending battles and heaven's imminent joy. The choice is clear, but the preparation is personal. Are you ready for what's to come? In today's world, the echoes of conflict reverberate globally, signaling a period of unrest and turmoil that aligns with the prophetic descriptions found in the Bible. These signs of the times are not merely coincidental, they are foretold markers of an approaching epoch, deeply rooted in biblical prophecy. Jesus himself spoke of such days in Matthew chapter 24, verses 6 to 7, warning of wars and rumors of wars, nations rising against nations and kingdoms against kingdoms, events that would serve as the birth pains of a new age. To be consumed by the despair of earthly conflicts, or to set one's sights on the hope of heavenly promises. The wedding feast of the Lamb offers not just an escape from despair, but an invitation to partake in a destiny that transcends the temporal struggles of this world. It's a call to embrace a future where love triumphs over hatred, peace overcomes war, and eternal joy replaces fleeting sorrows. This heavenly promise serves as a reminder that, despite the apparent triumph of chaos on earth, God's ultimate plan is for a celebration of eternal victory and joy.
Really, when you think about when a young woman is getting married, that's about all they think about. All the plans, the cake, where they're going to have it. I mean, all the dresses, all those various things. And it's interesting today, most believers don't think probably very often at all about the marriage of the Lamb when they're going to be married to the Lord Jesus. Right now, the Apostle Paul says in 2 Corinthians, we're betrothed to Christ. So we're kind of in that engagement period right now. And of course, when you're engaged to someone, the most important thing is for your love for them to be increasing. You're getting to know them better and becoming more intimate in your knowledge of them, but also to be faithful. And so we're in that betrothal period. But someday, when we're raptured to heaven, after we've been rewarded, then we're going to be married as the bride of Jesus Christ. We're going to be brought to Him and be married to Him and joined with Him for all of eternity. And the garment that we're wearing on that day will be the garment of our own making. And so I think it's incumbent upon each of us to think about that and ask ourselves, where will I be? What will I be doing? What will it be like when I stand before the Lord at that time?
Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to Him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and His wife hath made herself ready. So there is a marriage ceremony that's going to take place. Look at verse 8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. So here we have a marriage. A marriage is going to take place someday in which the bride is going to marry who? Jesus. Now notice what we said earlier in 2 Corinthians chapter 11. I believe it was verse 2. Yeah. Paul says, I espoused you to one husband. He said, I will present you someday. When will the marriage ceremony of the Lamb take place? Some people say when the rapture takes place, then right up here when we all go to heaven who are saved at the rapture. This is when the marriage supper of the Lamb, marriage supper of the Lamb, I'll abbreviate it. That's when the MSL takes place. So what we are today when we're saved, it's like we are espoused to our husband. And yet we're not with our husband yet. He's in heaven, but we're here on earth. And when that rapture takes place, then we all get to go up to our husband who's waiting there, and then he gets married. And Jesus Christ stands before God the Father, and I guess God the Father says, all right, you too? I do, you're married. And that's when the marriage ceremony takes place. But even though we're not quite married yet, in God's eyes we are. Because we're called the virgin who's espoused to the husband. So Jesus is already called our husband. So it's like it's a marriage that's going to take place no matter what. How do you like that for eternal security? That is eternal security.
Israel is under attack, and it seems like things are really starting to ramp up. Things are really starting to heat up, and we're talking about prophecy not in the making, but happening currently as we speak. Are we not?
Amen.
Remember, God's timing is God's timing, and so when it feels like things are going too slow, things start ramping up. When things might start going too fast, things kind of simmer a little bit, and we go through these things called birth pangs. And so there's a hot, and then there kind of simmers, and then there's a hot. But these birth pangs are getting closer and closer, and the hot are getting hotter. And so I just look at it and go, well, obviously it's not time right this moment for that to happen, but that is not going to last forever. There will be a time, Bob, where that does escalate. And when it does escalate, it is going to be the final escalation prior to the start of the tribulation. So we can see that coming. And, all I can say is that keep watching because we may see some of these big prophecies in the Bible come to pass before the rapture takes place. We've said that numerous times. We don't know whether or not they're going to or not, but if you watch and you see what's going on, then you know that Jesus is at the door. That's ultimately what this says. We don't have much time left.
The end goes to the end. And our end is going to be the rapture resurrection event. Amen. That's a great point. I hear that the birth pains over and over and over, but you know what? It's really starting to make sense now because we are really living it now. We thought we were going through birth pains before, but now we are at that point where it hits hard. Oh, it's really bad, and then it's like, and the media starts simmering and lighting up and everything's just like, and all of a sudden it just dies down. Again, and then it's quiet and all of a sudden, boom, blows up again. I was like, this is totally the birth pains right now. And look, really bad.
This was the biggest drone strike attack in the history of the world. Yeah. I mean, if you don't think that the birth pangs are getting stronger, then you're missing out because you're missing out on watching the end times unfold right before your very eyes. We're talking about unprecedented events. And the tribulation is full of unprecedented events. So So Bob, I guess this is huge, but you haven't seen nothing yet. I mean, this is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. And so this is all going to usher in someone who's going to bring in that peace, the world peace, right? To stop this. Eventually, it's going to be a ceasefire. There has to be, because in order for there to be an antichrist that brings this false peace to the world, something has to stop this.
Something very strange is happening between Iran and Israel. Now, in order to understand Jerusalem's role in the end times, we must first delve into ancient scriptures. You see, everything we see unfolding right in front of our eyes has been prophesied to happen. For thousands of years, the faithful have been watching and waiting for these events to unfold, because when they do, reality as we know will be changed forever. Jerusalem, the heart of 3 world religions, a city with a history spanning thousands of years. But what does the future hold for this ancient city? Today we will explore the biblical prophecies surrounding Jerusalem and Israel in the end times. Zechariah 12.
The burden of the word of the Lord for Israel, saith the Lord, which stretcheth forth the heavens, and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces. There will be great distress in the land and wrath against this people. They will fall by the sword and will be taken as prisoners to all the nations. Jerusalem will be trampled on by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. Zechariah prophesied of an era where all nations would gather against Jerusalem. In the midst of this, the Lord would defend the city, marking a pivotal moment in the end times. Now combine this with 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 3 through 4. Paul speaks of the man of sin, or son of perdition, who will exalt himself above God, sitting in the rebuilt third temple in Jerusalem, claiming to be God. The man of sin, otherwise known as the Antichrist.
Iron Dome. And those of you listening, you don't know what Iron Dome is. Iron Dome is a network of trucks that shoot missiles and missile silos all over Israel. And collectively, they're a network of stationary and mobile missile launching stations. And these stations are spread out all over the country, and collectively, they work as the Iron Dome. They're thinking that the reason why they sent the drones over and they did all this stuff was because they wanted to see where all the stationary missile response systems were. Because they know the trucks will move around. They know that. So they're trying to find the chink in the armor when they sent those things over. Okay. They launched only one missile at them from Iran. There's one big missile they launched. It was one big smoke trail. And it's like that can only have been a nuclear weapon. Iran used a nuclear weapon against Israel, and they got shot down. Okay, that's why Israel's so mad. Yeah, everything got shot down. All the missile, all the attack from the drones, all the stuff got shot down. The big missile got shot down. All right, they're mad because of the fact that Iran had the gall to shoot a nuke at them. They're mad about that. It's like, you don't want us to just be cool about this and just walk away when our enemies just supposedly shot a nuke at us. Now you want us to be cool? And I think Israel is getting trapped. They're trying to trap them because they're saying, oh, don't do anything, Israel. I mean, everything got shut down. Nobody got hurt. Everything's cool. If you respond right now, Israel, you look like the bad guy. And that's how the world will come against Israel. Because think about it that way. If you're Benjamin Netanyahu and you had an enemy country shoot a nuke at you and you shot it down, and wasn't able to land, it's the principle, the fact that they shot a nuke at you. That says only one thing, guys. They want to completely wipe them off the map, which we know is biblical. Okay.
Yeah.
This is why I believe Israel wants to blow them the kingdom come right now. It's like, we're not going to give them a chance to do that again. Biden told, if you respond now, we're not going to help you this time. And you're going to have to totally depend on Iron Dome. And think about it this way. You're talking about Iron Dome. They only got so many missiles. They got a lot of stuff to use. They got a lot of hardware. But eventually, at some point, guys, they're going to run out of missiles.
That's what I was saying.
They're going to run out. Those things are expensive. How much are they? Like $1 million a shot, something like that? It's incredible.
They're going to run out, folks. And that's where God steps in.
Very expensive.
But I was watching all the missiles coming. I was like, man, look at that. I was like, can you imagine the time when they all run out of missiles and then they launch? I think what they're doing, they're trying to wear them out slowly. And then once they know they run out of missiles, that's when they're going to launch everything at them.
Yeah. And you know what, folks?
That's when God steps in.
Yeah. In Isaiah 17, folks, if Iran decides to use Damascus City and all that to run through there with their Air Force and everything, whatever, let's say Russia uses the Air Force and everything to go through there. We're looking at plausible scenarios here, folks. We don't know how it's going to have. Only God knows. When do you think Israel's going to use the Samson option when they need to resort to nuclear weapons? when their Iron Dome runs out, they're going to say, guys, we have just nothing left. We have to use our missiles, the ones that are nuclear tipped. And he says, you sure you want to do that, Netanyahu? We don't have a choice, or we're all going to die here. And God's going to be like, well, God